All right, YouTube. How you doing this evening? Mr. Yo. I was waiting on this moment right here. Got a little bit to talk about. Just got back from Biloxi, Mississippi. Uh, we left out of here. We took I think it was a 4-day trip. 4-day trip. Thursday to Sunday. Thank God we left on Sunday anyway. But took the hour's drive down to Biloxi. Got in Thursday, I'm going to say around 4. It's about 4 o'clock, yep. Got checked in. Got everything situated. Then I told my wife, I said, well, let me go on down here and check out the situation in the casino. Of course, we stayed at Harris because I'm a Caesars guy. That's just, they just take good care of me every time. So there's no need to go anywhere else. So, like I said, got situated, went downstairs, and started walking around, and I noticed somebody over there in the corner of my eyes. I said, dang, that guy looks familiar. And then I seen another guy standing right there beside him. I said, whoa, he looks familiar too. So I just creep on over there, and sure enough, it was Gargoyle and Heavy. I had no idea that these two guys were going to be there. It was a surprise to me, but it was a good surprise. I've been wanting to meet both of them ever since I seen the videos that Ed had put out on his channel, going back in history and, talking about Heavy, interviewing him, interviewing Gargoyle, and walked over there, introduced myself. He knew exactly who I was. Heavy knew who I was. I was like, okay, this is cool. So we automatically hit it off. He was over there playing, a couple of slots and stuff like that. And we got to talking this and that. And then they invited me somewhere Saturday. I'll get to that later on in this little trip report. But they invited me somewhere. So I was like, okay, that's cool. And they said, well, we're waiting on somebody else to get here. So I said, yeah, I just got here. Gonna check out the tables, see how they look, see how, what the limit was and stuff like that. So got done talking with them, mingling for a little bit. So I went on back over there to where the tables were at. And of course they were packed. They had 2 tables. One was a crapless table, and the other table was just a regular craps table, but they had the all tall, small, the bonus bet and stuff like that. But anyway, they were both packed. So came back upstairs, told my wife, I was like, you won't believe this, man. Told her who I met, and she was like, oh, that's pretty cool. You got to meet the guys that you always talk about. I was like, yeah, that is cool. And the fact that they're here, this is even awesome. And they invited me somewhere. So I was like, this is perfect. This is going to be a really good trip. So Friday went on. Of course, we came down with a couple of our friends. It was 2 other couples. And, of course, we all drove separate vehicles when we came down. But we linked back up with them. Went to the Blind Tiger. We always go to the Blind Tiger when we're there, man. That's just something that I guess it's just ingrained in us now. If we go down to Biloxi, the first place we eat at is the Blind Tiger, and I always get the shrimp. It's fresh, Everything they've had there so far has been good. So if you haven't been to Biloxi, Big shout out, the Blind Tiger. Yep, very good. Very good. So anyway, night goes on. We come back, get done with our dinner, go back up to the room for a little bit, parlay, just chilling. I told my wife, I said, well, I'll go downstairs, and if the tables are packed, then you know what, it is what it is, because we just got in, so it really wasn't no rush to get on the table. So with that being said, went back downstairs, and sure enough, tables were a little bit packed. Not packed enough to where I couldn't, just get, on the table. So I had $100 in my pocket. I said, well, let me just play a little bit and see how the table's going to react since I was practicing. So took my little $100, bought in. Instantly, the guy that was shooting the dice, he 7'd out. Then there was 2 other people before me. So I just waited there, watched. The guy in the hook had a pretty decent little roll. I didn't put no action in on him. I just watched it, see how everything was reacting. He 7'd out. Probably about 8 rolls later, he 7'd out, which I would have actually made a little bit of money off of him. But like I said, we just got there. Ain't no need to, dive into it. Just check everything out. So next guy gets his dice, and he's from straight out because I'm right here in the hook. I guess that they would call that stick right 2. Okay, yeah, stick right 2. That's my position. So he gets the dice. I think he might roll like 3 times. Okay, so I was like, perfect. My turn. All right, I get up. They send me the dice, and everybody's like, oh man, because I have my Mr. Yo hat on, so everybody, they automatically start talking. They're like, oh, Mr. Yo, and this and that, the dealers, and they're all like that. I said, yep, I'm in the building for a little while, so it felt good. Actually, I knew 2 of the dealers from the last time I was down there in Biloxi, so it was cool to see them again. So they shoved me the dice, and of course, I do my 3-6, 6-5, and grab the dice, grip the dice, toss the dice. Yo, 11, first roll. Felt good to do that. And I didn't know. I mean, we don't know what the dice are gonna do when we toss them. Once they leave our hand, they just do what they do. So it was awesome that the first roll on my trip, first time me getting the dice in my hands, the first thing I roll is 11. That was pretty cool. So got paid on the pass line. Of course, I had a C&E. Got paid for that, the 11 on that. So that felt good. Dice felt real good first toss. Got them back. I probably had, I'd say, a 8 roller, just to start off. I think I hit the 6. I hit the 5. I hit the 9. Yep. I hit a 4, hard 4. I hit a hard 10. And it just kept going like that until about, I would say about 8 rolls. With that being said, 7 out. Collected a little bit more than what I had invested out there. I just basically same bet. Because, it's the first night, trying to get used to the table. Whatever, seeing how everything goes. So, with that being said, I took the money and I walked away, which was good. Went back upstairs. Talked to the wife, told her, I said, man, it feels good down there. I said, first time, held the dice, felt really good. Got a couple good tosses in, all box hits, except for the Yo 11. And then 7, of course, at the end, I said it feels good. So we, just chilled and enjoyed the night view because right outside the window, if you look to the left over there by the Golden Nugget, they got the big old Ferris wheel lit up out there. It was real nice, man. Real nice. They put us up on a real high floor, so we got to look over, all that good stuff. I think I made a video already about, where we was at, top of the morning. Friday comes up, and we get up and, we're just chilling, not in a rush because we've been to Biloxi before, so we're not in a rush to do anything. The tables don't open down there until 10? Anyway, at Harris, they don't open. So I get up and I go out for my little morning walk and stuff like that. And then I get a call from, the friends that we had with us, and they wanted to meet up at the Scarlet Pearl. I've never been in the Scarlet Pearl, but that place was actually really nice. It was a really nice place, and one of the guys that went with us, that's where he stays at, and that is a privately owned casino. Real nice. A little bit of history behind that casino. It was a father and a son deal where the son built the father the casino, so that's how it became the Scarlet Pearl. So it's a family-ran casino. Anyway, we went and ate breakfast with them. Had a real good breakfast there. Of course, I got the shrimp and grits. That was really good. I don't know what my wife got. No, she got like a steak breakfast. It had steak and eggs. I don't eat steak, which a lot of people I know, y'all gonna say that's weird, but I'm a seafood guy, man. Grew up in South Carolina. Hey, seafood is where it's at. You stay healthy eating seafood. Anyway, that's just a little joke. But anyway, Scarlet Pearl was very nice. Very nice, good, clean. Not too big casino. Where the gaming area was at, if you signed up with your card, they gave you like $20 of free play. So of course I went over there and signed up and then gave it to my wife so that she could go ahead and, run away and play slots with it or whatever. And me and the guys, we actually went to the craps table. It's a small table in there. It's playable, It's not too bouncy, which, like I said, that the bounce don't really run me off. It's how you toss the dice to get it to do what it's supposed to do on any surface. You'll learn that as you're practicing whatever you do, with your toss and stuff like that. You'll learn that these tables, all of them are going to be bouncy to some certain extent. If it's too bouncy, don't play on it. That's just the bottom line. But anyway, that table was actually fair. It was empty. So me and Cliff and Doug, we all got on it. And I said, Doug, you want to roll first? And he don't know nothing about dice, so he just picked them up and ching, slung them down there. And he had like a 10 roller. We all bought in. I think we all bought in 300. Yeah, 300 each. So he got the dice and slang them down there, ching. He had a decent little roll. I actually made over $100 on him. Cliff, no, Cliff don't like rolling, so he automatically passed the dice to me. So the table felt shorter than a regular craps 12-foot craps table. I didn't measure it. It didn't matter because I was able to get in a position which I felt that, okay, this is decent right here for me to toss on. Since nobody was on the table, if I needed to step up a little bit, I could do that. If I needed to step back, Cliff would move out of the way, but we were all on one side. So I get the dice, and it's weird. I don't know why this keeps happening. And later on, it gets interesting as I go on with this trip report. I get the dice 6-3, no, 3-6, 6-5. And I toss the dice first toss. And I'm going to tell you, those dice were smaller. Those dice, I'm not used to them dice, but I could tell a difference in them when I held them in my hand and they were smaller. Those were the smaller dice. Anyway, with that being said, I toss my first toss and 11 comes out again. Hey, it is what it is. You know, I'm not complaining. I'm on the C&E. I'm on the fast line. I got the dice. If the 11 comes, the 11 comes. It is what it is. Fun stuff. Fun stuff. So automatically, when that 11 shows up, that just puts like a positive like intel in my little brain here. So it feels good when I toss that, because if you look at that set, that 3 and that 6 is right there on the left eye, and the 6 and the 5 is on the right eye. And if you're holding them like this right here, like I do, and you look at it facing you, is the 11. So every time I toss, those dice were actually doing what they were supposed to be doing, and I'm assuming that's an on-axis toss. That 11 came up again, so it was perfect. So, like I said, I shot the 11 on the first toss, felt good about it. I think I went 13 box hits before the 7. Felt really good, walked out of there with about almost 700. I just same bet it. I didn't really know that table. We had fun playing. Doug and Cliff, they were there, so we had fun playing, and it turned out to be a good little session. Then some other people started coming on the table, and it just went like 7. We left. So after the first guy 7'd out, like within 2 rolls, I was like, "Yep, guys, we need to leave because this is how it starts." I mean, we made a little bit of money. Take the little bit of money we got. Let's go. So, excuse me. We all decided to leave there, and that's where Cliff was staying. Cliff was at the Scarlet Pearl, and Doug was at the Hard Rock. So he's like, "Yeah, let's go over to the Hard Rock. I'm ready to play some blackjack." And I was like, "Yeah, I like the Hard Rock." I said, "I like their tables over there too." So we go over to the Hard Rock, which ain't far at all. So we go over to the Hard Rock. Of course, Doug hooks us all up with valet parking, so we're all up in the front. Feels good. We're able to walk right in, so I like that part. So we walk in, we get in there, and it's loud. It's loud in the Hard Rock. So he goes over to his blackjack, and me and Cliff, we run over to the craps table because Cliff was wanting to learn a little bit about craps. So I said, "Just hang with me, man, and we'll play a couple of these tables and we'll see what they're all about." So Cliff hangs in there with me. We go over there, and yeah, there's room for both of us over there. So he's like, "Man, I'll get right here. You get right there." I said, "That's perfect." So we go in there, and we're on the table, and everybody's actually having decent rolls on there. I bought in a $300 again. Yeah, I was just doing small buy-ins until, time to leave. So $300 again. We were on a table with a bunch of positive people. I mean, one guy, he was over on the other side, and he was just like, "My name's Charles." And the other guy was right beside him, and he was like, "My name's Mark." And he was like, "Well, I bet you we know your name," because of course I had the Mr. Yo hat on. So, the table, they already had me like giggling a little bit. So they're like, "I bet you're Mr. Yo." So, because I had the shirt on with the Mr. Yo and the hat, and I was like, "I like you guys, man. I think this is going to be awesome right here." So And of course it is. We're on that table and the dice are on the other side. And we get there. I mean, the guy down there on the end, he's killing it. He is literally, I mean, 5, 8, 6, 9, 5, 8. I mean, he just kept repeating those numbers, which was really good because that's what I usually, when I go in, I'm 5, 6, 8, 9. I think his point was 10. It took him a while. I think he rolled the dice like 20 times. We were pressing and collecting. Because Cliff is new at the game, so I was like, we don't want to, go big. Let's just press and collect, and see how high we can get it. By the time his roll was done, I had my 6 at 180. I had my 8 at 90. I had the 5 at 150. The 9 was at 150. It was crazy. It was fun. He never hit that 10, which is okay because he was hitting all the inside stuff, so it was fine. So dice goes around to the next person. Of course, you 6-8 him, and he 7s out immediately. Next guy over, he gets the dice. And this is still on the other side. It hasn't even got to us. We're over here just having a blast, man. We're just over here, me, Charlie, and the other guy, Mark. And he kept saying, Mark, you suck. Every time, he just kept saying that. For some odd reason, he kept telling his buddy that he sucked. So we stuck with it. So every time somebody would get the dice and they would hit a box number and we had numbers on it, Charlie would be like, I'm the man, and Mark, you suck. So we started saying, Mark, you suck. And it worked. For some odd reason, it just kept the table positive, So that guy down there, he had another good roll. I don't know what it was. It wasn't counting, but I made money off of him as well. Okay, he 7s out. Then Charles gets the dice. Charles is a funny guy. He's really funny. I wish I had a picture of him, but I don't. You guys would have. He just had a cool vibe about him. That's what makes a table as well. Anyway, Charles gets the dice, and he doesn't care. He goes across. I'm like, woo, gravedigger. I've been taught that word. Gravedigger when you go all across. I said, man, I'm going to 6-8 you. He says, that's all right. He said, because I'm good. But Mark sucks. All right, okay. All right, we get it now. So pay attention. So he takes the dice and he tosses. Bam. He hits a 6. I'm like, okay, that's good. You might be all right. And he's like, yeah, no, I'm good. So point becomes the 6. Immediately when he gets those dice back after everybody starts putting their... He tosses them again. 6. He hits his points. I was like, okay, I like this guy. All right, so everybody gets paid. They're pass line with their odds. If somebody was on the 6, it was all good. He gets the dice, and they send the dice back to him. He hits an 8. No problem. I'm good. Mark, you suck. Okay, whatever. Gets the dice back and buckshots the 8. I wish I could be making this up, but I'm not. Anyway, Charles gets the dice again after they pay everybody out, and he hits the point of 5. They put it on the 5. I said, I dare you to hit a 5. They give him back the dice. He hits a 5. I'm like, okay, Charles, I don't know what you're doing over there, but I like it. Keep up the good work. And Cliff's like, yeah, keep up the good work, because he ain't never played, so he's collecting money. He's feeling really good about it. Charles gets the dice again. This is the 4th point. He makes a 4. 3-1-4. We all know that old that old 4 is something else. But he hits the 4 hard. He gets the dice back and he hits the 4 hard. I was like, okay, this is good. This could be a good roll. So as soon as I, start thinking like that, it's like, all right, 4 points. Let's see what happens. So, of course, what do? I put $100 on the pass line. And I put 200 in, and I put $100 on the pass line. He rolls a 7. I was like, perfect. I got paid $100. I double it up to $200. And he hits a 3. I said, shit. I said, dang. All right, so they snatched that, and I get paid my little bit from my C&E. $15. Yeah. I was like, dang, that sucks. So I do it again. I put another 100 out there, and he hits the point of 9. And he goes to roll the 5 and the 6 and the 8 a couple times, and then he 7s out, and then that was it for him. Mark doesn't shoot the dice, so he just doesn't shoot. I guess that's why he sucks. But that Charles guy, he had a really good roll. That was fun, watching somebody buckshot and actually having money on there, making money from just point hits. He ain't really, until he hit that hard 4, that's when he actually started hitting other numbers. Anyway, after his roll, Mark passed. Cliff said, no, I'm not shooting either. So the dice comes to me. All right, set my set, do my pass line, my C&E. This time I don't hit 11. I hit a 6. I hit a 6 as a point. And I hit a 8, a 9, and then I 7 out. So it was like a 4 roller. I collected money. And I was like, all right, we're going to color up. Let's go see what Doug's doing. So me and Cliff, we colored up. I won about 7, another 7 on that. It was fun. Gave Charles a high five and said, don't stay there too long. You'll give it back. Whatever you made, you'll give it back. So, of course, me and Cliff, we leave. We go check on Doug over there playing blackjack or whatever. And he's doing good. My wife's over there. They're all watching. And, so we sit down and watch and for a little while. And I had dinner reservations back at Harris by this time at Magnolia's. Is that where we went, babe? Yeah, Magnolia's. So we went there. We ate real good and just enjoyed each other's time, talked about the day. I'm feeling good. I'm up. At that point, I think I was up 15, 16. Yeah, somewhere $100. So we're eating dinner, and we got done eating dinner, and I decided to go back over to the table to check it out. And of course, they had the crapless table open, and they only had one side of the regular, because I guess they were short dealers. They only had one side, so I got on the regular table and played there for a little bit. I bought in for $300 and lost all of it. Bought in for another $200 and lost it too. Okay, that's enough. Because if you do that, you end up giving it up. So Friday, I go back upstairs. Me and my wife, we go back upstairs. That's the end of Friday. Saturday comes. I get my my invite to somewhere. I call Gargle and I say, hey man, I'll be over there this morning. So we go over. It's about 14 14 miles away from Harris over in the Gulfport. And I don't know if you guys can see this, but this is where we ended up at. We ended up at Access Power Craps with Heavy and Ed and Gargle and a bunch of other people were in there. And this place is cool. It's actually a dealer school. And I guess that's where, they go and they practice and they teach you stuff that you wouldn't know about. So if anybody knows Heavy or Gargle or Ed, I'm going to advise everybody that takes this serious to actually contact Gargle or Ed or Heavy and take that class. Take that class. That class will teach you a lot that you thought you knew, but like I did, I thought, I've been playing craps for about 4 years, and I thought I knew some things. And when I got in there, I actually got to start all over with my not that it was extremely bad, but there was some things that I was doing with my toss that they actually helped correct. And when I actually was tossing, they were able to see how I was tossing and how the dice were reacting. They got different tables in there and different surfaces. And they were able to tell me, hey, you need to do something else with your fingers or this or that, or straighten out your arm, or do stuff like that. And I've seen, just the time that I was there, I've seen a big improvement on it. So those guys, they care about you in there. There's a lot of information that they got, and it's more besides Heavy. And I think Oz was there. Ken No Shoes from Canada, he was there. I mean, there was a lot of people in there, and it was just a lot of people that's really that really wants to learn about tossing the dice correct. That way, I mean, because if you think about it, I mean, we're all taking money that we could either be doing something else with, like fixing up something at your house, or taking your family out on a trip or something like that. But we actually take this money and we invest it in playing a game. If you're going to take your money and invest it and play a game, then I think that you should take your money and invest and take one of these classes, either whether it be Ed, Heavy, Gargle, all of the other guys that were in there. They got knowledge that will actually help you save your money. I mean, because if you're out there and you don't know anything about the game, if you just want to throw your money away, that's why play the game. We're there to play the game to win money, not to just throw it away. So anyway, that class that I was in was excellent. Big shout out to Gargle. Gargle, you're a good guy. I appreciate you. Big shout out to Ed. You're a great guy. Big shout out to Heavy. Heavy takes care of his people that are in that class. He really does. These people are taking the time to sit down in there and talk to you and show you things that nobody else is gonna. I didn't know this stuff. Nobody else is gonna show you this stuff. But you'll get other information from people like on YouTube, strategies and stuff like that. But the classes are where it's at. Anyway, going on forward on. The class was great. We get out of class, and I go and connect with my wife and my friends, and they all asked me how everything was, and I was like, it was great. It's a good learning opportunity, and I'm basically gonna start over and see how this, see how what I learned, I'm gonna imply it with what I've been doing and make it to where it works for me, to where I could, because this is the game that I choose, is craps. Anyway, so pick up the wife. We go back over to the Hard Rock later on, and we get on the table because at this time this is Saturday. Yeah, we got to eat dinner at Ruth and Chris. So we went on over there and met up with them again for dinner. But before that, we had like an hour and like 30 minutes to spare. So I run over to the table. They're still over there messing around with that blackjack. I don't know nothing about that. But anyway, we get over to the table, and I just walk up to the table. I don't really know who's on it or whatever, because I just got out of that class, and now I'm just trying to pay attention. You know what I'm saying? Because, what you learn, or you just try to stay focused, try to stay calm, because when them dice come to you, it's your turn. Anyway, the guy, whoever had the dice, was on the other side or whatever. I went straight to the table, and I focused in on myself. I didn't care what was going on at the table. I just focused in on myself, and I blocked out everything that was there, because when it was time for those dice to come to me, I was wanting to just, stay focused, calm, and toss the dice. The guy that had the dice 7'd out, so I bought in. I don't even know who he was, didn't even look down that way. I guess I bought in for $300 because I knew we was limited on time. That seemed to be the number this week, that weekend. Anyway, got the chips, put them in a rack, and the dice come flying down, and it was 5 or something like that. So I just kept looking down. I was like, okay, I'm gonna go 5, 6, 8, 9. So put my bets out there. Everybody had their bets out. I stayed focused on, just my bets, and dice come back down there. I think it was a 9. All right. Same bet. Dice come back. 5. I said, all right, that's good. Go ahead and press me up a unit. No, actually, that was the point. The point got hit. Yeah, that's how it worked. The point got hit. It was 5 automatically. So dice went back out, and it was a 9. The point became a 9. I think. Yeah, that's what it was. And then there was a 6, and then an 8, and then a 5, and then another 5, and then another 5, and then a 9. I was like, damn. I said, dang, that was a good hand. I'm collecting and pressing the whole time. I'm like, man, that's a good hand. So I'm just staying focused, staying calm, not even worried about it, because I'm in money mode, because I actually lost $500. So I need to get that back. So, what I'm saying, whatever. So dice goes back to the gentleman, and he commenced to toss again. I think he tossed 6. Then it was like 5. It was like 5. And then it was like 9. And then it was like an 8. And it was another 5. And then it was a 9. And then it was a 7 out. And this whole time I collected all that. And then then the person finally sevened out, and I looked up, and it was dang Ed. It was Ed from Roll the Win, just killing them box numbers. Killing them. I looked over there. I was like, man, now I know why. I recognize that dang. I recognize those numbers. I mean, he was tearing them up. He was tearing them. He said, Mr. Yo. I said, oh, man, dang, Ed, that was a good roll. I said, I'll try to return the favor. I'll say, but I ain't got but a little bit of time. I said, I appreciate it. You made me my money back that I lost. He's like, we're good. We're good. We're good. And this time, Gargoyle comes up. I'm like, oh, no way. This ain't happening. See, now I'm all off. Now, I was trying to stay, focused. But here's Ed on this side. I should have never looked up. That just had a great roll. Made me my money back. And now Gargoyle's on the other side of me. And then here's some other people. So, of course, I get the dice. 3, 6, 6, 5. Hey, y'all, everybody gets ready. And first thing I toss is 11. Wish I was making it up, like I said earlier. Nope. First thing's at 11. Get paid on that fast line and get my 11 paid for. So get the dice back. They felt good and stayed focused. Gargoyle was right here, and I think I hit. The point was a 9. Yeah, shot the dice, hit a 9. Hit a 8. I think a 6, and then Gargoyle said, hit that 9. He just said it in my ear. I was like, oh, gosh, here we go. So I set him up, and bam, I hit the 9 for him. Got it. It was awesome. So, I mean, he was, I just got out of class with him and stuff like that. So now here he is coaching me on the table, which was fun. So I hit the 9 for him. And I get the dice back. I think I set the point at 5. Hit a couple more numbers, and then I 7 out. Yeah. I think I had probably another 8. 8, 9, 10 seemed to be what was hitting for me as far as the roll count, which that stuff don't matter. What matters is the money that you're pulling off the table. Gargoyle gets the dice. He's right beside me, so I get skinny. I get skinny on him because, people are starting to get on the table, so I get skinny on him. And Gargoyle, he plays exactly the way he talks. He goes out there. He's got money on that table. He's got it out there. He really does. He's got the money that he says he bets. It's on that table. I was like, okay, this is going to be interesting. So he gets the dice and he tosses them down there and he sets his point. I'm like, okay, good. All right. So then he gets the dice back and then he tosses them again and he hits another number. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, he says, pull me down. And I'm like, what? He's like, pull me down, pull me down. He's like, pull me down. I'm good. And it's still his turn. It's still his turn to toss. I'm like, there was a don't player on the table. And when I tell you that Gargoyle, when he says that he sticks to his rule, if there's a don't player on the table, Gargoyle don't play. He doesn't play. He pulled his money off the table. The dice went to the next player. The don't player was still on the table. And Gargoyle collected what he had and he left. It was just like clockwork. So that right there showed a lot, that a person could actually, do exactly what they say they do for real, in real life when they're out there on the table. If Gargoyle say he didn't play on the table with don't players, he don't. He really don't. He pulled his money right down and he got out of there. So, sure enough, that don't player on that table, I stayed on that table for another person that was standing right next to Gargoyle. And he tossed a few, and sure enough, it went south. That table went south. So, thank God it was dinner time for us because I wasn't fighting it. I think Ed had pulled off too after Gargoyle left. So, me and the wife and the friends, we all went out to dinner. Had some good food. At Ruth and Chris. Yep. Real good food. So, that was Saturday night. That was Saturday night. All right. We get done at Ruth Chris. And I tell them, all right, man, I'm going to head on back over because it's a multiplier for me. You know, the whole weekend was a multiplier. And I had no idea that Heavy and Ed and Gargle and No Shoes Ken and all them, they were going to be there. I had no idea all them fellas was going to be there. So it was good to actually finally meet Heavy and Gargle. I met Ed at the Brown Water Bash. And somebody else was there. Oz was there. Somebody else was there. Anyway, there's a lot of people that was there that I'm not mentioning because I don't remember their names, which is because, you know, when you got a handle like Mr. Yo, it's kind of easy, or Gargle, or, you know, Ed Roll the Win or something like that. It's kind of easier to remember those names than, you know, like Brian or what was that guy's name again, or whatever. So you get the point. So we leave the Hard Rock and we go back over to Harris, and we hear of this guy. When we walk in there, we hear of this guy that just came off of a hour and 45-minute roll. While we were eating dinner over at the Hard Rock, over at my place where I was staying, Harris, somebody was on a freaking run. They had the chips cleared out. They had the $1,000 chips cleared out. I mean, it was all, and this was on the crapless table. I mean, whoever it was that was tossing was murdering it. Because when I got there, No Shoes Ken was telling me about it because he was already there, but he couldn't get on the table because it was like nuts. I'm assuming. I'm like, kudos, good. You see this guy, he's still sitting over there in the corner. He's got about $50,000 in chips over there. And another guy beside him had like 30,000. And, you know, I mean, it just went on. And I was like, sure, good for y'all, man. Good for y'all. So I went over to the regular craps table, and me and No Shoes Ken and some other guys that knew Ken were there. And we had a good time playing with them, but they haven't even eaten. Those guys didn't even eat yet. So they were rolling, you know, having a good time and stuff like that. And so they was like, well, we're going to go eat. Nice to meet you and this and that, because that's the first time I met Ken too. And they left to go eat. I said, yeah, y'all go eat, man. Go get y'all something good to eat, man. This has been fun. I'm pretty sure we'll meet again. And he was like, yeah, I'm going to Vegas. I'm like, I don't know about that one. But anyway, they leave. Me and another guy that I tossed with a night before. Maybe it was a night prior to that. Me and him was on the table, and some other guys, and a guy and his wife. Right. So I walked right up to that table, the other table, and got right into my position, which was good. Dice was on the other side, watched it, came around to the guy next to me. He tossed. I get the dice in my hands, and I don't toss 11 on this one, but I end up tossing 32 rolls. 32. Yes. It felt good. I don't know if it was what I had learned or whether I just felt good. I don't know what it was, but something clicked. Something clicked, and I wish Ken them would have stayed because they missed a hell of a hand. They missed a hell of a hand. I went, it was like clockwork. Everything started going in. It was beautiful. I hit 6 points in that roll. Um, I colored up after that roll at $4,200 with a $500 buy-in. That felt good, guys. I mean, I actually am happy to say that I finally got my six up there. And what's so funny about this, what I'm about to tell you, is that I've never done this, but I did it. I did it down there this time. Me and Ed was outside after we had lunch. We was outside, and I was like, how do you do that 420 thing? You get that six up to that 420, and then what's the next hit? He said, this is how you do it. He said, you take this. He said, you take this hit, then you go this hit, you drop two or whatever, then you go to this number, and then that number. Well, the dealer that was dealing, his name, shout out James. Good job, James. Good job. Shout out. If you're in Harris and Biloxi, there's a kid named James there, and I would say he's the best dealer. That guy's the best dealer. Anyway, he knew that method of play, of building, or what do you call it? Pressing. That's it. He knew that method of pressing that six to get it to that 420. Because I said, I want that. Eventually, I want that six at 420. I remember in the roll telling him, eventually, I want that six at 420. I want to hit that six. I want that purple chip. And sure enough, that dealer did it. He did exactly what Ed said, because I remember him saying, drop me this, drop me that. But I was so in the zone, it was great. So a $4,200 win off of my own hand. Thanks to everybody. I'm just gonna, just go ahead and say that, man. Thanks to everybody, because I truly believe that that toss was a part of all the information that I had gained from that class prior to what I have been doing, just implementing a couple of other small things, by, whether it was just making sure my head was turned straight so that the dice went. It just worked. Anyway, so after that color up, I walked upstairs, and my wife was upstairs, and I showed her that, and she said, okay. She said, we're going to leave in the morning. I was like, really? She said, if we don't leave in the morning, I know what you're going to do. She said, you're going to go back down there, and you're going to blow that. I said, no, I ain't. I said, I ain't going to do that. I said, because Cage has told me, he said, make sure you bring that money back home. That's exactly what Cage told me. He said, make sure you bring the money back home. Shout out Cashier's Cage. Sarge had said, hopefully you do good down there, man. And, I had people communicating with me as I was down there, whether it be YouTube or just, they were there. And that's what I like so much about and the YouTube community, is that's why I started making these videos, is because, like Sarge said in his last video, you need those guys as like your backbone. When you're out there in the trenches and you're playing craps out there with your hard-earned money, you need these people to be like, hey, even the small wins, just take them. Get away from the table, take a break. Do what you got to do. When you start losing, you leave. But when you're winning and things are hitting, you hit a big win like that, just leave. My wife was right. She said, let's go. And we got up early Sunday morning, and we took our 8 hours right back here to Franklin, North Carolina from down in Mississippi. We stopped in Auburn and went to that old Bucky's or whatever they call it. Everybody's so hype about that. And then we hit Atlanta's traffic for about another hour and a half. So so add another hour to our 8 hour trip, an hour and a half. So we got home probably at we left at 6 in the morning and got home at like 4:30, somewhere 5, somewhere up in there. So epic trip for me. I brought home the money. I got it. I didn't it felt good winning. It felt good meeting everybody. Looking forward to going down again. And like I said, guys, just practice. And if you can learn something new, learn it. You know, like I did. I wanted to learn something new, so I went. And I'll tell you right now, them fellas, they taught me something new. They taught me a lot new that I'm going to be incorporating in my toss to get better. So with that being said, man, Biloxi, they got 2 thumbs up, and I got them again. I got them again. Our next trip, don't know yet. Me and my wife haven't decided yet where we're going. But you better believe you'll see me out here practicing on my table, and you might be able to see what I incorporated that's new, that has been helping my toss. So the practice sessions are going to continue, but the next time I'll be hitting the casino, I'll be here, my local casino here in Cherokee, North Carolina. So if any of y'all want to come up, just shout out at me, and we'll hit them tables. I'll be back there at the end of March because I got a lot of practice to do. So I'm not automatically going back to the casino after my Biloxi trip because I learned something that I need to be doing that's going to help me. So I'm going to utilize the time to practice that and get it ingrained, and we'll see where it takes us. But that's been my trip report for Biloxi, Mississippi. My first trip down there this year. I'm pretty sure I'll go again this year. So I look forward to seeing more people out there at the tables winning money, not losing it. So, like I always say, practice, practice, practice to toss them until you boss them. This is Mr. Yo. I'm out.